Hey guys, how are y'all doing? How's your day going? And if it's just starting, how was your night? Hope you had an amazing and a very beautiful night rest. Um, yeah, my name is Praise, if you don't know that. And today we are at day 4 of our um crash course, our Python programming crash course. So far we have done basic concept, we have done string formatting and whatnot. And yesterday we did, or at least our previous video, we did control flow where we focused on conditionals, for and while loops, and also exception handling. So today we're going into functions and models. So starting with functions. If you don't know what functions are a collection of statements or a collection of codes which can be easily accessed during the program. The main reason for creating function is to reduce the amount of times you have to duplicate. It prevents repetition basically. So if I have like a specific line or two lines or multiple lines of code that I want to access multiple times, instead of always declaring it whenever I want to work with it, I'll just define a function and keep calling it down the line. So when you're defining function in Python, you make use of the def keyword, that is def. You assign the name of what you want the function to be. Yeah, in this parameter is going to collect your parent. Is going to collect your this parenthesis is going to collect your parameters. We're going to leave it blank since we don't really need to access anything in it. And then we are going to print something. So now we have defined our function, but the function is currently dormant. So the only time when the function is going to activate is once we call it. So calling it is just passing the name of the function and just, oh, what am I doing? Save it. And once you run it now, it should print hello world because that is what the function is supposed to do. Now, receiving arguments inside functions. So arguments are received within these parentheses. So the very first method of receiving arguments in function is just passing the arguments you want to collect. Maybe you want to collect A and B as variables, right? I want to maybe do something with them so we can access them within it. Now, one thing, when you define a function, when you define a variable within a function, that is a local variable. And the only way that that variable can be easily accessed outside the function is if you pass in the global keyword for like as you are defining the variable. If not, it's only within the function that that variable can be used. Although from global variables, that is variables that were declared outside of the functions, can be accessed within any single point of the function. So just keep that in mind. So let's print a plus b. Let's save it and let's run. Oh, sorry, we didn't pass in. Sorry, forgive me. So once we ask for two arguments here, a and b. So when we're calling greet, we have to assign those arguments. So we save it now and we run it. Perfect. Now, another form of receiving input in grid is when you have your args. I've forgotten what that thing means. Is it arbitrary argument? So that is, if let's say I want to receive a certain amount of arguments, but I don't know like how many arguments I want to receive. Maybe the list I have is endless. You call an arbitrary argument. That is when you have like you call an asterisk and you call your variable name. So what we can now do now, when this is called, all the every single thing that you receive is going to be saved into a tuple. So the input form that you're getting right now is a tuple. So you can now take it in this form and like see it as we can just treat it the way we treat any we treat any tuple. So we can say for I in A, print I. Okay, now here we can pass as many arguments as our heart desires. So let's just be passing numbers, just be passing random amount of numbers. So no matter the amount I pass, it's going to print it. And because every single thing you're imputing is going to be saved into a tuple. Then once you run your code, depending on what the function you declared or what you defined function to do is going to be, so we find out to print, so you're just going to print out everything. Another alternative to this is quags. That is a keyword argument. So when you're working with keyword argument, that's when you would declare your function that you want to work with. Then instead this one saves it into dictionary. So like if you have a, our assigning, we want to call something for a, so we can say maybe okay, we have maybe name. So your name is made up of your first name and your last name. We can now say first name is equals to this, last name is equals to this. So that is, as you are defining it, you're equating it, kind of like the way key and values work. So if you now want to use an arbitrary keyword argument, that's when you still call the asterisk, but assign it as that one is double asterisk here, it's not single asterisk. Single asterisk is arbitrary argument, double asterisk is keyword and arbitrary keyword argument. So if you use the double asterisk, it's not going to be saved into like a dictionary. So you'll not just be accessing it as you would any key value, and you can take multiple data. So yeah, that is basically every single thing you need to know about functions. One more thing though. So we have what is called an anonymous function. That is a function that is declared without being defined, and that function is the lambda function. So there are different uses of lambda. You can use it for inline coding, or you can use it as a return statement in your function. So we're just going to use it as a return. Okay, let's just use it as an inline argument. Let's say d is equals to, so the syntax of lambda is you call lambda, then you now pass in your argument. So let's say our argument is a, and then the expression you want to solve for. So you can say a raised to the power of 2. So um if you now want to call if you now want to call if you now want to access this lambda later on within your function, you'll just call it the way you would call any single, but now is the variable name you are calling. So we'll just call print d. Then we're now going to pass in the argument into d. So let's say x is equals to 3, because it's only a, sorry, a not x. It's only a we asked for. So you can pass as much. So one time about lambda, it collects as many arguments but only one expression. So if you want to use another expression, you have to call a new lambda. There you go. Okay. What else do I want to cover here? Okay, I said these functions and modules. So modules are kind of like libraries of code. Like there's this library in Python, the Python package index. So here, if you just go, you can search for the packages you want. There are over, like there are a lot. So you can just go here, you can just look through any model it is you want. You will always find a model that does something you want to implement your program. Then you can now either download it from here or pip install it from your terminal. So you can just go and browse through it. But basically modules are collections of functions, variables and classes that you can use and within your own. So you can also create your own model. So let's create our own model, just a very basic model, so you just understand how you import model. So if I was going to get this model outside, I'll just do pip install the name of the model. But since I'm importing it locally, so I'm going to do test.py. So let's do create a basic function. Let's just do an add function. It's going to take a, let's just do a. So we'll just print a, um let's say a plus 2, and we'll save it. So now we're not going to call this function here. Instead, we'll come to where we want to access the function. So now we have to, when you're working with a new model, you import the model. So there are different ways to import. You can say from, this is the first way, from test. So we're not adding the py extension since then. If I was just say from test import, we'll now call the name of the, what is the driver in this thing? Oh gosh, I might close it. Add. So from test import add. This is the first way. The second one is just import test. That's the second one. Or if you want to import every single element, so we can still use the from test import. Then instead of calling a name, we'll just put asterisk. So this asterisk will import every single thing that's present in it. But let's just say, let's just import. So let's just do, because if you use now, let's see how you call it. So if you say from test import all, you will not need to now start calling the test dot. You just call the name of the model you want. Like for example, just call add. But if we just say import test, if you want to access anything in test, we're going to have to say test, because that is the name. So we have to say test dot the name of the function add. Then we can now assign a value into the function 6. Let's print it. Oh no, sorry, we're not printing. We can just run because we passed the print function inside there. So there you go. So that is basically every single thing you need to know about function models. So now all these models that you make use of, like all these your prints, all those stuff, they're all models. So you just If you want to like find out more about other models, like except the basic models are here, like you have your maths, you have your random, you have ticking. So there are a lot of models. There's pillow is the graphic, like for you making use of pictures. So just go here. I'll leave the link in the description below. You can go down there and download it for yourself. Like just look, you don't download it, you look for the function for the model you want to make use of and you download it. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope to see you guys here tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow? Let me check. Oh, we're working with file. All right. So hope to see you guys here tomorrow. Other than that, have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye, guys.